Another night with another chance to get back in the win column, and now the Oneonta Outlaws on the road as we welcome you to Falcon Park here in Auburn, New York for an exhibition matchup against the Doubledays here on Oneonta YouTube. As always, my name's Colby Smith, and as we said, this Oneonta team been struggling to put together some W's and find that win column, and let's take a look back at last night. Boonville got on the scoreboard first, top half of the first, 3 runs, started with a Carter McKay double to right field. It was kind of a ball that got misplayed a little bit out there by Dane Richards. He just kind of tracked it back a little bit, tipped off his glove, and so then he had to chase it to the wall with Santiago scooting around the base paths to score for the Jats to get him that early lead. Cabasa would then have a single down the right field line to bring in McKay, and quickly it was 2-0 Boonville. Then we'd get an RBI double from Miguel Gonzalez, and there was a force out on the base paths, which ended the half inning, but Cabasa cruising in to score, and so 3-0 Lumberjacks your score just after a half inning. Outlaws would get on the board in the bottom half of the first. Zach Porter would have an RBI single through the left side, scoring Kazuhara to cut it to a 3-1 deficit. It was just the third time all summer that the Outlaws have scored in that first inning, whether home or away. In the second inning, they would get another run. Brendan Connolly would poke a single through the right side, and Ian Wirtz would come on in to score on that. There was an error on the play as well. Connolly ended up going all the way to third on the error, too, and that was certainly something. Last night, a lot of fluky plays. I mean, we had 3 errors by Boonville, 1 by Oneonta, and as you'll hear from head coach Keaton Mark on our coaches interview of the day shortly, there was 5 triples by Boonville in that game last night, a number that nobody, I mean, we went through the records over the last couple of seasons, not more than 3 triples in a game, at least over the course of the last 7 seasons of baseball in Oneonta, and I'm sure you go back even further, that's a record that's probably going to sit for a number of years. But moving on to the 4th inning, Andy Perez would walk, Newland going to second, but it was Burgos who scored on the wild pitch, and so the Jats had an insurance run. It goes to a 4-2 score. We go to the 5th, and the Outlaws grabbing their first lead of the night. Brendan Connolly would score on an error by the Boonville bat stop. It would be an unearned run. Then we get a Jack Clark single to right center, which scored Dane Richards. And then Jack Clark would go to second on a wild pitch with Jace Kohler scoring. And certainly that's not how you draw up taking a lead most nights, but the Outlaws would take it 5-4. We'd go to the 6th before Boonville would take the lead right back. Namala would have, talking about triples, an RBI triple to right center. Burgos scores. Devin Moran would keep the scoring going with a single to right. Namala cruising in. Jats take the lead bat 6-5. In the 7th, they would cash in a couple more on Asa Dugan, who started to tire in his 3rd inning of work yesterday. Burgos would have an RBI triple off him. Gonzalez coming in to score, and then they would add their final run of the night as Newland would poke a single through that left side. It just barely came through Carrera and Connolly. Burgos scores. It's 8-5, and it's in our scoring here last night. I guess we're going to have to get that corrected. It's Kazuhara homering in the 7th inning, but that was Ian Wirtz who had that home run, and he actually takes player of the game yesterday. We'll get to that in a second. But as you see, Boonville, 14 hits to the Outlaws, 9. The Jats, 3 errors to Oneonta's 1. Jats leave 9 on base with the Laws 6, and both teams take 7 punch-outs. But Ian Wirtz, your player of the game yesterday, finishes the night 2 for 4 with a home run and scores 3 runs. He will not be in the lineup tonight for Coach Keaton Mark, trying to give a couple of his regulars an off night in this exhibition game. We are playing a full 9 innings at Falcon Park, but again, this one will not count for the standings. And speaking of Ian Wirtz's home run, let's take a look at that now. McKay able to work a 1-2-3 bottom 6. As Wirtz will turn and shoot one in the air towards left, drifting back. Burgos watches as it's out of here. Ian Wirtz, the first homer of 2025 by an Outlaw at home, and Oneonta's within 2. So Ian Wirtz would go yard, and as you heard from my call from yesterday, it was the first lawn ball by an Outlaw at home here in 2025. Now a team combined 3. The other 2 came on the road, had a Jack Clark first pitch of the game of the first inning up in Amsterdam in our second trip to Shuttleworth Park. Went over the fence, killed the vibes at Shuttleworth, and there was that. And also Dane Richards' first AB of the game this past Sunday up in Boonville. Outlaws taking a loss 10-3 in that contest, but Richards starting to show up in a big way. He had a 4-for-4 performance on Sunday, had 3 hits again yesterday, and if it wasn't for that Wirtz homer, he would have been my player of the game yesterday for sure, but there's not much more to contend with than that. It really is hard to put one out at Damaski Field. Not only is it, 340, 350 to those left and right center gaps where he was able to push it over the fence, but you got the double fencing around most of the outfield as well, and it makes it next to impossible unless you really get a good rip on a ball to pop one out of the ballpark. But Wirtz does it. It was a hanging curveball, and that's one thing that Keaton Mark was really kind of stressing. Those hanging curveballs have been the pitch to hit for Ian Wirtz here these last couple of weeks. But introductions are going on here in Auburn, and I hinted at it already, but got the opportunity to catch up with head coach Keaton Mark before he got on the bus for Auburn today. So let's go down to our coaches interview of the day. Colby Smith back here once again with Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark. Coach, tight competitive one last night against Boonville. What'd you see from the guys?
Yeah, I mean, we put runs across the board. It was good to see. So did they, obviously. So, they had a couple big hits in a couple innings that really took over the game. But other than that, it was a good game all around. We pitched pretty well. They swung pretty well. We swung pretty well. They had some errors. We had some errors. So it was kind of back and forth all game.
How weird was it? I mean, sure, it wasn't your side, but 5 triples by Boonville in the game last night. As somebody who's been around this ballpark for a long time, how strange was that?
Yeah, it was pretty strange. I mean, that first inning, it felt like they found every line possible in the outfield, and then whenever it was in the later inning, they were just hammering the gaps, and the balls were hit very well. So, at a park like ours, you get it out there, it's pretty easy to get around the bases. But, yeah, I've never seen that, so it was strange.
One player I wanted to ask specifically about, Ian Wirtz last night. Homers, he's starting to find his stride at the plate. What's been working for him lately?
Yeah, he looked good. Even hit single up the middle, he just kept his hands inside and stayed through it. The home run, he finally just stayed on a curveball up and in, and, yeah, he hit it very well. The ball, one of the better hit balls I've seen by us in the past couple of years, so that's good to see.
In terms of the pitching standpoint here, what did you see from the arms you used last night?
We did a pretty good job. Obviously, I'm blanking on his name. Our starter gave us a good start. He was a little off, but still he gave us a quality start. And then Asa came in, filled it up. Obviously, they were swinging it well. He did all you could ask him to. He filled it up. Just a couple times when he got ahead 2 strikes, just missed a little too much down the plate, and they took advantage of it. And then Berciaga came in. He did a heck of a job. 17 pitches in 2 innings. It really closed the door. If we did have the lead, it would have been perfect. But, just is how it is sometimes.
How nice was it to have such a big crowd here last night, despite the team struggles here lately?
It was great. Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. Obviously, I know Morris Little League always shows up, and they always bring all their parents, and it's a great time. But on a weekday, on a Tuesday, that's a huge crowd, so it was really good to see.
Well, now you go to Auburn tonight, play this Doubledays team. You beat the first time you saw them back in June. What kind of energy, excitement are you looking for today?
Yeah, I'm looking for some energy. We added some new guys, and they're going to get to play tonight and show off what they have. And Owen Burnsworth is back with us, so that'll be a lot of fun to see him back in action. He's going to help us out the rest of the way here as guys are getting injured and stuff like that. But it'll be good to see some fresh faces and some guys trying to figure it out in the game tonight.
Well, one last question here before I let you go. You mentioned those new guys. How is a coach here in summer ball with guys in and out, guys getting hurt? Do you go about finding these guys to add midseason like this?
You just try to use all the connections you have with coaches. At this point, this late in the year, you try to rely on connections that are closer to you and you have close contacts with instead of sending just random emails. So luckily, I sent out a lot of texts in the past 3 days here, and I've actually gotten more responses than usual. So we'll have about 5 to 8 new guys coming in the next 2 weeks or so. So we should be able to finish strong at least.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck today.
Thanks, Colby.
So a huge thank you, as always, to Outlaws head coach Keaton Mark for taking the opportunity to swing by our pregame show. Lineups, anthem, and now first pitch going to fly here at Falcon Park, and we're just about ready for this exhibition matchup against the Doubledays. Second and final time these two squads will meet up here in 2025. Second and final exhibition game for the Outlaws as well, as the only two beyond the 46 games, of course, against Eastern Division foes. These two matchups against the Doubledays, with the Loss putting together a schedule of 48 games here in 2025. But here's the group that's going to go at it for this exhibition tonight at Auburn, as we'll run through the starting 10 and, of course, talk a little bit about our starting pitcher, but we'll save most of that for the bottom half of the inning when he takes the mound first. But starting things off in center field, it's going to be the Wofford product, Kazuhara. Matt Carrera's at short. Zach Porter going to be in. I have Zach Porter. I meant Zach Rao, so I apologize there. But Darren Dangler, I'm confusing myself. It happens. But Darren Dangler's behind the plate in the cleanup spot, making his return to the lineup, and he is very excited to be back in for Oneonta tonight. Got to speak to Darren a little bit before the game tonight, and we'll get more into that as we go. But Lorenzo Camilleri stays right on in there as the DH for the second straight night. Connor Wading going to man first base. Thomas Woodridge will be over at third. Owen Burnsworth, welcome back to the Outlaws, going to be playing right field. He spent some time on the left side of the infield last summer, a little bit of second, mostly at third, and also played some outfield, particularly in right. Hugo Conor's down to the 9th spot. He's the EH, drawn back in for the first time since Sunday. And Zach Robinson back in for the first time in a couple of nights as well. And he rounds out the starting 10 at second. Pat Dangler going to get the start on the hill here for the Outlaws. He's pictured to the right on the screen, and got the opportunity to speak to Pat pregame as well, and he's hoping that he can give this team quite a bit of distance tonight. The Laws are really short-staffed in terms of pitchers available. It'll just be Dangler, Alex Burciaga, who threw 2 innings last night to close out the game against Boonville at home. He only had to throw 17 pitches, but I mean, he's going to be available, and Colin Carver, the only other arm available for the Outlaws tonight. So Dangler said his goal is to at least go 6 for this Outlaw team and hopefully give them a quality start, be an exhibition warrior, and give them a chance to get in the win column for the second straight time this year against Auburn. Kazuhara will come to the plate. He's going to be seeing Cooper Pokovich as the first one will drift up and in, and the count's 1-0. Cooper Pokovich is making his first start of the summer here for the Auburn Doubledays. He pitched for this squad 2 years ago, is a local product right here from Auburn, as Uhara going to take a miss upstairs and outside, and the count will go 2-0. Stands at 6'4", 185, just wrapped up his sophomore year for the Potomac State Catamounts. So goes out west for his college time, and that one close to the belt, but a called strike, and Uhara finds himself in a 2-1 count. Pokovich this spring at Potomac State, just 4 appearances, all were starts, and he finished 1-2 with a 3.77 ERA. Uhara takes a low one in towards the knees, and the count will go 2-2. Pokovich looking at the scouting report on what he brings to the table. That curveball slider chilling in the mid-80s and can sit right around 90. Tops out at high of 92 on his stuff. Uhara able to wedge that one away, and he'll stay alive, as the count will stay 2-2. That one coming up on the scoreboard is just 75 from Pokovich. So definitely a little bit low in his velo, but again, first time he's seen the mound since the end of April. He's wearing 38 on the hill for the Doubledays, as that one will come in and plunk Uhara on the back of the jersey. And he will take first base and be a leadoff base runner for the Laws. Uhara's been really good at getting on base for this Outlaw team when he's been having some good nights. He has had a few bad nights. His average is sitting at 268, which kind of puts him middle of the pack for this Outlaw team, who's really hasn't had too many guys that have stuck up and stuck out on the regular. Had your 2 All-Stars. We talked about it quite a bit on our broadcast last night. Jack Clark and Zach Porter. And another guy who definitely could have deserved a look in terms of bats-wise, positional-wise, was none other than Jace Kohler. But Jace getting snubbed. Could have had a couple of pitchers get a look as well. And Carrera taking another miss, and the count will go 2-0. Martin Thorsland, one that comes to mind. Asa Dugan, another. Logan Scholl's been pretty good for this team as well, despite a limited number of innings. And there's just a lot of Outlaws, despite what the numbers and stats say, that have done a job and tried to help this team win some ball games. In foul territory, that one being chased by Swake, but he won't get to it and have a play on it. And so the count's 2-1. Maher's behind the plate here for Pokovich. And first to third on the infield, it's Swake, Fishman, Vasquez, and Bonfiglio's at the hot corner here for the Doubleday defense. They got Albright, Sullivan, and DeSerbo left to right in the outfield. And checking the base runner, and now here's the 2-1. And off speed, going to miss up and away. And so, counts quickly 3-1 on Carrera. This is the Outlaws' first trip to Auburn since 2021, and that was actually the year that head coach Keaton March spent with the Outlaws. So as we were getting off the bus today, he was kind of reminiscing about his playing days for the Outlaws. As Carrera going to take the 5-pitch walk. He was saying that when the Laws last came here, because if he recalled correctly, he said they played twice here that summer, and I didn't get a chance to look it up and prove him right or wrong, but he said twice that summer. The first time the Outlaws won, and then the second time they came here, they played 1 or 2 innings, and he was in right field, and a teammate of his was in center field from college as well that had joined the Outlaws late in the summer, and they were having a hard time communicating because the rain was so loud. It was absolutely pouring, and they actually had a ball that fell directly between them and trying to track a fly ball. It was just raining that hard, and they finally ended up calling it 2 or 3 innings later, and it wasn't a full game, which was kind of a shock. You know, you come all this way out here. It was supposed to be a 2.5-hour bus ride, but they wanted to play as much as they could, and that's the one thing that's really nice about having the turf field. You can get in some extra innings that you might not get anywhere else, because it certainly takes a lot to stop a game at a place where you got both turf infield and turf outfield like you do here at Falcon Park. Rao took a big swing right through that one, and it counts to 1-2. So Pokovich, the second time he's gotten 2 strikes on an Outlaw hitter. And he plunked Kazuhara, stands at second. Matt Carrera's at first. Again, it's first and second, still nobody away. And Rao popping one up, left side, foul territory. That'll get towards the Doubleday clubhouse, and so we'll try it again. But Rao having the off night yesterday. Outlaws got rained out, of course, on Monday. It's supposed to be Christmas in July night against Utica, and we've decided we'll post it on social media here within the next couple of days. But Christmas in July night going to be rescheduled to Saturday, July 19th against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs on Casella Waste night. As that one out to the corner, chasing it back was Albright, but it dropped foul. So just out of your screen here, kind of took a curve off to the line. We do appreciate the hospitality here at Falcon Park, getting a nice view right up here behind home. But again, it's a 1-2 count on Zach Rao. Third base, the only bag open is he'll go swinging for one, down and away, and he'll be retired for the first out of the evening. Pokovich was a big strikeout pitcher when he played for the Doubledays coming out of high school 2 years ago. His final line that summer, 3-1 in 9 games, 6 starts, 3.44 ERA, and he walked 16, striking out 36 over the course of 28 2/3 innings of work. Darren Dangler returning to the lineup, welcome back, and he'll go right through one to trail 0-1 in the count. Darren was saying that he was super pumped to get back in the lineup, super excited to get a chance to get some live at-bats again. He's been really struggling mentally, dealing with an injury that he took early on in the year. It was actually the first game of the season for the Outlaws in Amsterdam. He went chasing a fly ball. He got the nod in left field on opening night, and again, hurt his hamstring, and so he was kind of fighting that on and off. Got the opportunity to play in a couple of games towards the end of June and was still kind of dealing with some nagging stuff, but finally back in, and we're super excited to see Big Dang back behind the plate. There's a miss upstairs and outside, and the count to 1-2. Darren was certainly putting good bat on ball in batting practice here in Auburn. Ripped a couple deep to the warning track out and left. And being a righty guy, left certainly his pull side. He's hoping, though, working on his pull around the whole entire field the rest of the summer. As he'll get rung up looking on a low ball. A slider from Pokovich. And Dangler not going to offer at it. So 2 down. And after the Outlaws' first 2 reach base, they're still staying put. And you got to wonder with Lorenzo Camilleri, who was getting good bat on ball last night, maybe you try for a double steal play in this situation. Just try to give yourself some energy, momentum early on, knowing this game is an exhibition, doesn't count for anything. You certainly want to do the best job that you can to get a win here tonight, but these are those games where you work on things. You try some different approaches. You get some guys who don't normally get those reps into the lineup. And, I mean, this is kind of the B cast for both sides. Not that I want to call some of these guys for the Outlaws the B. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but a lineup that's not for usual. As this one airmailed over the head of Bonfiglio on the left. The double steal play was in effect. Coming and sliding to third, Matt Carrera. And he'll get in there. Run scores and counts. Outlaws going to take a 1-0 lead. So that going to be huge. So credit Uhara with a stolen base, Matt Carrera with a stolen base as well, and then both going to advance the extra on the E2 as Matt Maher airmailing that throw. Bonfiglio just couldn't jump high enough to snarl that one down out of the air. Camilleri now going to take one upstairs. And the count will go to 1-1. Camilleri, a graduate of St. Peter's Prep, going to New Jersey Tech in the fall, primarily a first baseman. But he can do some utility play as well, kind of shift around the infield, take some outfield reps if need be. And knowing that Jameson Baylitz just left this team for the Outlaws today and not going to be back for the summer. It's going to be huge to get Camilleri some reps at first moving forward. He's probably going to be the go-to guy the rest of the way over there. So guy who had no plan of playing summer ball in a place like good old Oneonta comes up here and he's won himself a job to get some key reps facing some collegiate pitching. And again, it won't be the same as what you're seeing when you go to school. The wood bats here in the PGCBL a little bit different. Always emphasize that, but you see that high-speed stuff, and it's definitely a good transitional sort of thing. Vasquez and Albright both bat there, shallow left, and it's Vasquez who makes the snag, and the half inning comes to a close. So the Outlaws do get a run here. It'll be 1 run on no hits, 1 error, and they will strand Matt Carrera at third. So love to see some early aggression and aggression that pays off here for the Laws. And we go to the bottom half of inning 1. It is a 1-0 lead. Back at Falcon Park in Auburn, Colby Smith here with you on Laws YouTube. Oneonta already off and running to the tune of a 1-0 lead, and you had the opportunity to look at the starting pitcher between half innings. Pat Dangler, the local product of Hobart, a graduate of South Courtright 3 years back, getting a nod on the bump for head coach Keaton Mark in this exhibition contest. And he sees Adam Sullivan to start it off, and he rips one straight up the gut. Went over Dangler's glove, just kind of lofted that low ball straight out, and so he will have a base knock, and Dangler going to have to work out of some early trouble. He has been good at doing that all season long, and he was good in his first outing this year against Auburn. 2 exhibition games, 2 exhibition starts for Dangler. Is in the Outlaw home opener back on June the 3rd when Oneonta took down Auburn 7-4. He went 4 innings, surrendered 4 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, walking 1 and striking out 1. But he drills Matt Fishbin on the next pitch on the left elbow, and quickly the Doubledays, 2 base runners on just 2 pitches. So that's certainly not the way you want to start. This Oneonta team really not used to playing on turf all too much. Sure, you've had it at Amsterdam a couple of times. Infielders got to work a couple of times at OHS before the season on some turf reps. Took them at Oneonta High School. But again, at turf plays a little differently. It makes it a little hotter. And it's just a different kind of environment. And this exhibition game environment, a 2.5-hour bus ride, and in front of a really good crowd here in Auburn as well. Just a totally different thing than kind of what you're used to. The fans are right on top of you here at Falcon Park as well. It's not like at Damaski Field where you got quite a lot of separation. Nobody's really right on top of you except for the rare exception of having a few people right down near each dugout. But even then, the people usually sit in that area aren't chirping you, aren't being loud, aren't talking too much. But here in Falcon Park, everybody's into it. Everybody's yelling, singing, having a good time as Dangler going to miss up high. And count will go 2-1. Adam Sullivan at second, Matt Fishman at first, and Gianni DeSerbo in the box in a 2-1 count with still nobody away, bottom 1 here in Auburn. Outlaws wearing the gray tops with the orange Outlaws plastered across the front with the orange numbers tonight, black shoulders, and they got the gray pants on. Both base runners looking like they want to go, as that's a good leave down low. And it'll go 3-1. For Auburn, they're going all whites. Probably a good move here at home tonight with a little heat index going on. They got Doubledays written across in that bluish-purple tint with orange outline, orange shoulders, and white pants as well with the red numbers on the bats. DeSerbo rips it straight back foul. Count goes full, and now Dangler will be looking for a put down. Certainly need to do the part and hopefully keep Auburn off the scoreboard. After you get one, last thing you want is to turn around and allow a couple here in the bottom half. DeSerbo laser beams one bat foul. And so that's now 6 pitches deep and still a full count. Dangler, in terms of the games that count this summer, he's made 6 appearances, 2 starts for the Outlaws. 0-2 is his record. His ERA inflated at a 9.58 is just inside. That one looked really dang close. Bases are juiced for Auburn. His Sullivan goes to third, Fishbin at second, and now DeSerbo standing at first. And Darren Dangler is coming out from his crouch, quickly talking to Pat. I mean, again, you really don't want to let this one slip away in the early goings. Everybody is the attitude on the bus. I don't want to put anybody down. I don't want to say anything negative at all, but the attitude was a little bit low on the bus today, saying, you know, why do we have to go out? Why do we have to play this game sort of thing? But every game matters in some respect, whether it counts for the standings or not, especially at this stage of your life, because some of these guys who are saying, you know, I want to keep playing ball for the years to come, well, the things you do matter, the attitude that you have matters. So that's all that you got to keep in mind, all that you got to keep in check here, despite what numbers, stats, struggles might be thrown your way, because life gives you curveballs. You can either smoke them out of the park or you can, you know, watch them float you by. And this Outlaw team hoping that they can get on the same page here towards the end of this season and not let some curveballs float them by. Dangler now trails 2-0 in the count. And with the bases loaded, he's got nowhere to put Troy Reeder if he's able to lose him. Reeder got the start. Opening night for the Doubledays on the road in Oneonta behind the dish. Went 2 for 2 with an RBI. And now he's ahead in this count 3-0. Doubledays that night using a handful of guys who are no longer with the team. And also using a handful of guys who are in their starting lineup tonight. Couple of the guys in that lineup are top of their team in batting averages. This one on the ground to third, bobbled a bit by Woodridge. He stepped on the bag and fired it cross diamond. As Wading hauls it in, they're able to flip 2, but a run does score. How about that? You trade a run for 2 outs, and that is huge as it erases the corner base runners. And we are all knotted up at 1 apiece here in the bottom half of the inning. Again, Thomas Woodridge, how about it? Starting that 5-3 double play. So Sullivan will score. Fishbin going to be out 5 unassisted. Moved to Serbo to second. And Troy Reeder scored as he grounded into a 5-3 double play. And Adam Schwake now up at the dish. One ball game here, bottom 1. And Dangler going to whip one down low. Counts 2-0 on Schwake. Schwake in the first matchup against the Outlaws playing right field. Finished 0 for 2 as Hill angle one off foul. And it's 2-1. And for whatever reason, my balls and strikes aren't keeping up with me here. So there we go. Try to produce our own show here on the road, and sometimes things work for me, sometimes they don't. So I apologize if anything looks a little off, but do the best we can as it'll go 3-1. It's always a process here at this level. I make graphics, keep the scoreboard up to date here for you, and get everything all set to go, and just try to make it a great time, give you the best feed possible. Here's this one airmail, shallow left center, and that'll drop in front of Casuar on a one-hop. Chugging on in to score, Gianna DeSerbo. Looked like there was some miscommunication on that one, but it doesn't matter how you get the run. It's just a matter of that it scores, and Auburn takes a 2-1 lead. So Dangler's got to be getting frustrated on the mound after a ball like that. Again, Uhara came in for it. Carrera kind of went back, and it didn't seem like from the view up here. And again, it is loud at Falcon Park. We're a little ways up here in the sky, but didn't seem like there was anything. As Schwake on the run and the slap tag. Robinson missing and popping it down. But Schwake's a speedy base runner. He's got it and then some to begin with. So he's in scoring position. Running to second. And counts 0-1. Robinson's kind of shifted back and forth on that right side. When he's manning second for the Laws, it's kind of a matter of where he's going to be on a given pitch, because he just kind of dances around, shifting more toward first, which is kind of waiting spot tonight, and then trying to cover second base with a base runner on as well. And Matt Carrera is trying to throw off the runner as well, as he's kind of coming in a little bit. This one to right field, foul territory. Diving went Burnsworth, but it drops to his left side. Nice to see Burnsworth putting his whole body on the line, going for that. He was a guy last year, wasn't afraid to get dirty, was afraid to do some of the nice nitty-gritty thing for this Laws team. But two-strike approach will be in effect for Alex Vasquez, starting shortstop tonight for Coach Petrossi. Matt was the coach of the Watertown Rapids last year, and with the new coaching need in Auburn, comes here to the Doubledays this summer, and he put together a real solid squad. Auburn now 16-10-4, and they're sitting fourth in the Western Division, but First, second, and third all within striking distance, and Auburn's going to be at home for quite a bit here in July, and they've played their best ball at home. Carrera almost bobbled in the transfer, but he gets it to waiting in time. So 6-3, Vasquez will be retired, but not before the Doubledays score 2 runs on 2 hits and no errors. And we will go to the second here in Auburn, New York. It is a 2-1 Doubledays score. Back to Falcon Park here in Auburn, top of the second. Connor waiting. He'll look to start the charges here for the Laws. Got on the board in the top half of the first. Had Kazuhara get on courtesy of a hit by pitch. Matt Carrera would reach courtesy of a walk. And then the two would try to start a double steal play for the Outlaws. It ended up in an airmail throw from Maher behind the plate over Bonfiglio, allowing Uhara to score. But Carrera getting left at third. And then Auburn turned around with 2 runs of their own in the bottom half of the inning to take the lead. It's kind of been the storyline of the Outlaws summer that once you get a lead, it seems like no lead is safe, whether it's 1 run, whether it's 4 runs. But I think in saying 4 runs, the biggest lead that this team has had in a game all summer, other than, of course, the couple of games they've won, is 3 runs. Because had 2 blowout victories against the Utica Blue Sox, also had a victory against Glens Falls, and then a tight one against Mohawk Valley as Wading down swinging on 3 pitches. That 4th of July game against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs was something else. Diamond Dogs, after a pitcher's duel for the first 4 innings, broke it off with 1 run in the top half of the 5th, and then Oneonta would do all the little things right, play fundamental baseball over the last 5 frames, got the victory 4-1, and as we said on social media post-game, only fitting you get 4 on the 4th, and may the force be with you, as Woodridge certainly feeling the force as he gets drilled by 1. So that one came up and hit Woodridge. Kind of plunked him on that elbow, and Woodridge goes running down and gets on, and here's Owen Burnsworth. Welcome back to Oneonta, as that'll miss high and away, and the count's to 1-0. Burnsworth last summer for the Outlaws, 14 games, hit just 139, 5 for 36 with 1 double, 7 runs, had 3 RBIs as the pickoff tried by Pokovich, but back in there safe is Woodridge. He had 1 stolen bag, walked 7 times, and struck out 16 times as well. That strikeout number was something he was luckily able to cut down at RPI this spring. And now the pickoff tried. Woodridge running down to second, and he's gunned out. So Pokovich looks to Swake and goes backdoor with the throw to Fishman. in 1-3-4. Woodridge is sent down on a caught stealing. Outlaws are being aggressive tonight. That's something that you love to see, but got to be smart. Sometimes you got to wait till that ball, you really get the turn from the pitcher to know that he's heading towards the plate, and Polkovich didn't really have that sign on that he was set in motion yet to come to the plate, so Woodridge breaking just a little bit early as the count will go 2-0 on Burnsworth. Burnsworth only had one multi-hit game last summer. 3 of his 5 hits for the Outlaws actually came in his 6 games in the month of July. Is that one a bad skip off the mound, dies on the infield, and he legs it out, and we'll keep the half inning alive with an infield single. So that's a big one for Owen Burnsworth, get his confidence up. On a 2-0 pitch, he just goes fastball hunting and just drops it straight on down on the mound. And sometimes it's weird how a ball could skip off a rubber like that, but you take the base runner any way you can get it. He's on, and Hugo Conors now up to swing it. Conors, 12 games played this summer. He's hitting just 132 as he rolls that one on the ground right to third base coach and Outlaw head coach Keaton Mark. Coach Keaton and I had a long conversation this afternoon talking about Outlaw roster transactions here over the last couple of days. Lorenzo Camilleri, the designated hitter for these last 2 games, most notable. Burnsworth coming back, a big one, and also had a couple of guys leave, a couple more guys coming in, and Hugo Conhorst will be going back out as he's going to the dugout. And that'll end the half inning right there. Outlaws going to surrender another on the base paths as Burnsworth will come back to the lineup, has a single, but it won't amount to anything. And we go bottom 2 here at Falcon Park in this exhibition. It is a 2-1 Doubleday score. Bottom of the second inning at Falcon Park in Auburn. And here on Outlaw YouTube, Caden Albright going to start things off against Big Dang. And that'll be a called strike 1. As Dangler going low and to that outside quadrant of the zone. Now goes backdoor again with a called strike, and it's 0-2. Certainly feels a lot more comfortable out there on the hill with Darren behind the plate for him. 2 grow up playing together for quite a few years, and then actually we're supposed to play college ball together at St. Rose. St. Rose shut down. Pat transferred to Russell Sage, and then Darren, of course, followed him to Russell Sage. Never got the opportunity this spring to work as a pitcher-catcher duo in game, but hopefully next year in Pat's senior year that will change. 0-2 again to Albright, and that misses in the lefty batter's box as the count will go to 1-2. Albright stands 6'1", 185, and he comes to the squad from Cortland. He played some real high-level ball in high school. Was a travel ball guy as well. Spent all year playing, and when he wasn't on the diamond, in the gym. Albright can have Mike Bonfiglio, Tyler Young up behind him here, 7, 8, 9 in the lineup, as that's a slow roller, going to curve foul to the right of the bag. And so Albright 6 pitches in. We'll try it again. Albright's in left, Mike Bonfiglio playing third, Tyler Young is the DH, and Matt Mahar, the catcher, in the 10 spot to round out this Doubledays starting 10. Coming up in just a second, we'll run through around the horn for the Oneonta defense. Is that just going to be low? And Albright finds the count full. But Darren Dangler's behind the plate for Pat. First to third on the infield, it's Connor Wading, Zach Robinson, Matt Carrera, Thomas Woodridge, and Albright, a towering shot to the corner, curves just foul. He put a good barrel on ball and just drove that one a few inches away from that white painted line in the corner. Seems like a little bit more space out there in left than some of these outlaw hitters are accustomed to seeing. And that is probably why Zach Rao is kind of pinched more over towards the line, knowing you got some foul territory out there that isn't usually, kind of in play at Damaski. This one, a little clear shot up towards the outlaw dugout, and it pops into the seats. So this is a long at bat as Albright already 9 pitches in, and pitch 10 will be coming up next. Albright scoring a run as a pinch runner late in the game when these two squads first met up, and now finally Dangler going to win the battle. He goes off speed, and the junk gets it done for the grade 8, and there's one away. So a 10-pitch at bat finally ends in a strikeout. Dangler's first of the game, and it'll be Mike Bonfiglio's turn to swing it. Bonfiglio comes to Auburn from Eastern Connecticut State and will actually be a future teammate and left side of the infield member with Matt Carrera down there. Carrera, our shortstop of record tonight for the Laws, just recently committed to Eastern Connecticut State, is out to right field. Owen Burnsworth chugging over in the corner, reaches up and's got it. So a fly out deep in the corner, Burnsworth able to haul it in, and I want him as the wide receiver on my fantasy team. There's 2 down, and it'll be Tyler Young's turn. Tyler Young, he's only played in 2 games. Both of them have been starts this summer for the Doubledays. He's 0 for 5 with an RBI and 4 strikeouts, and he'll take a low called strike 1. Young, a Division II player down at the University of Tampa in the Sunshine State Conference. 0-1, and that one tipped off the end of his bat and came up and drilled Dangler. So Dangler's laying down as it looked like it rocked him up on the mask. And Coach March coming out and checking on him and making sure he's all right, because the last thing you want is a guy that's been dealing with injuries and nagging stuff all summer to get knocked out here in the second inning of just an exhibition contest. That would just about kind of summarize how things have been going for the Outlaws if something like that would end up going down. 0-2. Blasted ball left side infield. Carrera slides on the transfer, bombs it off, and won't be in time. What an effort by Carrera, though, on that ball. That was phenomenal slide and kind of, knocked it in the transfer and tried to whip it off as quick as he could. But it'll be an infield single for Tyler Young, and his first hit is a Doubleday as well. Again, won't count for his stats for the summer, but hopefully that'll be a confidence and, momentum turner for a guy who certainly needs one. That's the nice thing about these exhibition games. They don't count, so you can work on things and you can kind of find a way to get your confidence back, whatever that may look like. Some of these guys, just that little boost, a little thing like that is all they need to get turned around. Is Dangler looking to pick off and waiting, playing toss with him. Looking like a little backyard type of catch game between Dangler and Wading when they try to pick off move. 1-0. And there's a nice back pick by Darren behind the plate as the count will go 2-0. Auburn has the most ties in the PGCBL to this point on the summer. Their record sitting at 16-10-4, and they have been really good, really hard to beat in their home ballpark in front of this passionate fan base. 12-2-1 here in the games that count. They lost an exhibition to the Syracuse Saltcats here as well. That was a very forgettable one for this group. Is the 2-1. Going to miss down and outside, 3-1. But in terms of the games that do count, they lost to Newark 9-6 on June 11th. And they lost to Geneva 17-11 on the 4th of July, a game that they trailed 15-0 after just 3 innings, but then fought almost all the way back. Fell a little bit short. Geneva had played a couple late runs, and the Doubledays ended up stranding 9 in that ball game. So that was a game that was a very entertaining one, and a almost 4.5-hour game on the 4th as well, as that's high for ball 4. And Dangler now finds himself with runners at first and second and still 2 outs on the board. So Young, after his 2-out single, going to go to second. Mahar will be at first, and it'll be back to the top of the lineup for Adam Sullivan. Third base, the only bag open. And Sullivan singled on the first pitch of the ball game, and now going to take a called strike inside. Dangler being called for just 78 miles an hour on that one. He's not a big velo guy, but he's a guy who hits his spot really well, does everything that's asked of him and more, and always is trying to do better and give his team a chance to win. That about sums up Dangler right there. He's just a guy who always wants to do better and be the best for everybody around him. And that's the kind of guy you need on your squad and need on your staff. Is hammered over that at Woodridge, drops in shallow left. Zach Rao over to field it in the corner, but Tyler Young cruises to the plate to score. And just like that, it's 3-1 Doubledays. So a huge ball to left field, just got absolutely missiled off the bat of Sullivan. So he's 2 for 2 in this one. And Young scoring from second, and Mahar putting the brakes on at second. So Mahar's at second, Sullivan's at first, 3-1 Auburn, and Matt Fishband now will settle in. Fishbein, a big swing right through that one. Fishbein, 275 average. 15 games. He's had 11 hits, 40 tries. And Dangler looks at both base runners, and Dangler slides over and picks it up off the turf as it'll go 1-1. Coming up in the top of the third, we'll take our first look of the night at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard. A lot of games going on, especially on the Eastern Division side, most notably a doubleheader in Mohawk Valley that we'll talk about. As there's a called strike, and Dangler ahead 1-2. Fishbein stands 6'0", 200 pounds from Denison U. He's concluded his junior year in the Atlanta, Georgia native. Going to go back one more year eligibility as he'll find it even 2-2. Denison finished 500 this year, and he hopes to go back and be a big leader, give the team a chance to have a winning campaign. Shot out, shallow right side, and caught as Robinson takes a couple stutter steps back and hauls it in. So Doubledays couldn't leave 2 on the base bounce, but they get another run on 3 hits here in the second inning. 3-1 Doubledays will be your score, and we will go top of the third in Auburn. Zach Robinson will start it off here for Oneonta, top third back here on Outlaw YouTube. Pokovich remains on the hill, and that one will sail up and away in the count going to 1-0. Robinson represents the 10-hole hitter in Coach Keaton Mart's lineup, and then we'll go back to the top for Kazuhara as it's 10-1-2 in this frame. Robinson taking another one, drifted up, and the count's to 2-0. Robinson, 12 games this summer, a 182 average, sits for 33 in total with 8 walks, and the most notable number, his 20 punch-outs. Another one outside and low, and the count to 3-0. When you have a strikeout number that high, it shows you're either not offering and not trusting the process, or it shows that you really got to start swinging more, and it's kind of a combination of both in the case of Robinson at this moment. Got to continue to put that work in and know that the best days are coming, and he's been trying to get into the cage, as he'll take a ride for that one and finds it full after getting ahead 3-0. Been seeing him talk to Coach Joe quite a bit recently about hitting tweets, hitting approach, and changing that approach and changing the attitude here. A big thing for this team is Robinson, another strikeout right there. After 3 straight balls, Robinson goes pulling for a fastball in the full count, and Cooper Pokovich already to 4 Ks through 2 1/3, and it's back to the top of the lineup, Kazuhara. Uhura hit by a pitch, got a stolen base, and has scored the only Outlaw run to this point. That one up towards his elbow, and he'll get ahead 1-0. Uhura stands 5'10", 160. Graduate of IMG Academy, and actually supposed to have a couple of IMG Academy products joining the Outlaws here in hopefully a couple of days' time. With some guys getting hurt, some guys taking off already, it's a matter of trying to fill those pieces to the puzzle, give your team not only a chance to win, but also kind of fill your roster up, have some depth options here over the last couple of weeks of the season. Outlaws still have quite a bit of baseball left to play. A doubleheader most notably on Monday at our next home game. 5 o'clock start against Boonville. Again, that's Monday, July 14th. And the count to 3-1. Also got a home game against Utica Blue Sox next week, and that's free admission on Tuesday. Sydney Federal Credit Union night. On the road Thursday and Friday, following an off day Wednesday, and then next Saturday, now just single game against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs at 7 o'clock, and that's free admission as well, sponsored by Casella Waste. Counts full on Kazuhara as Cooper Pokovich, seeing his pitch count kind of risen up a little bit. Outlaws have been working him in some deep at-bats. Pokovich rots and fires. And that one over the head of Vasquez in the left center. Drops for a base knock. It's a 1-out hit. And Uhura on base for the second time already in this game. So nice to see Uhura continue to fight and continue to find ways to get on base. Matt Carrero looked to do just the same and keep the Laws rolling. He'll take a miss. And, well, I mean, Carrera was just recently committed to Eastern Connecticut State. You could see that he's really kind of, I don't know what the right word for it is probably going to be, a little bit more relaxed, because when some of these guys for the Outlaws have known that they just kind of don't know what their next step is going to be, where they're going next, it's been tough to really get them in a good headspace. But to know that your best days are ahead and know that, you know, there's a school waiting for you next year, it takes a lot of pressure off you. And Carrera You can kind of just see that he's feeling a little bit less stressed now. But counts 2-1. Outlaws, after getting on the scoreboard in the top half of the first, allowing 3 runs over the course of the last 2 frames. And another one sails upstairs. Counts 3-1. Pokovich chilling out on that right side. As he turns, takes a look at the base runner. Uhura's on the move. Mahar eats that one. And it was a miss anyway. So I was kind of waiting on that. But Carrera takes the walk. It was good heads up running, though, by Uhura to be on the move. So first and second with 1 out, and Matt Petrosi going to come out for an early mound visit, and that's the perfect time to now go to our PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard. Game 1 of the doubleheader in Mohawk Valley. Diamond Dogs a 14-6 lead on the Dragons, and that's some big offense on the side of the Dogs. They had a 9-run spot in the first inning. It looks like they have a handful of guys with 3 hits already on the night. A 2024 Outlaw Jaden Ross, who just recently signed in Mohawk Valley, has a couple of ribbies on the night as well. And Walls will see them tomorrow night. Oneonta going to go to Little Falls, part of a stretch of 5 consecutive games on the road. But top of the third, Batavia Geneva, 5-0. The Mutt Dogs have a lead over the Red Wings. Then Newark and Elmira, top of the third. Pioneers, 2-0 lead on the Pilots as Rowell take a miss in low, and the count's 1-0. But again, bottom of the third, Niagara, the Americans, a 4-0 lead on the road. Top of the third in Utica, and Boonville is trailing 1-0 as Rowell popped that one up over the seats on the third base side, and it counts to 1-1. And bottom of the second in Saugerties, Goose-Eggs on the board for both the Mohawks and Stallions. And then one last game still to come later on, 7:35. Well, I guess it won't be a 7:35 start because they're still in the midst of game 1. So probably closer to 8 is a slap tag at third. Not going to be in time as somehow Uhura gets in there. Man. So another double steal attempted by the Outlaws, and it's a successful one. Uhura to third, Carrera to second, and count going to be to 1-2 here on route. He struck out swinging in the first inning, trying not to go down back-to-back times, and now he pulls one out towards right field, chugging on Bat Sullivan into Serbo, and that one will fall and gets away. Came off to Serbo's glove and gets to the wall. Rounds chugging around second. He'll hold up there. Carrera rounds to score, and he ties this game up at 3 apiece. So a pair of RBIs right there. A huge knock that hits off the glove of DeSerbo and just kind of gets away. So Rao able to tie it up here at 3 aside in Auburn. And down we'll go to Darren Dengler in the lineup. So now it's Dengler's turn, and again, Rao off a second, and that one shot straight back, and the count will go 1. Dengler struck out looking in the second inning on a pitch that was down low and away. Got Vasquez kind of shifted over halfway between second and third. Swait position, back off the outside corner of that first base bag is the pitch from Pokovich. Going to clip the zone low, and the count to 0-2. Dengler's got Lorenzo Camilleri up behind him here in the middle part of this Outlaw lineup. Pokovich sits back door behind him. In the pitch. That one almost getting away from Mahar. He's able to spring up, though. Not allow it to get any further than his catcher's box there behind the plate. So it's 1-2. Dancing lead off second for Rao is the pitch. Gonna ring up Dangler Luque. Once again, Pokovich goes off-speed jump to Dangler, and for the second straight time, he's rung up Looking, and there's 2 down. Pokovich is up to 5 punch-outs on the night, and again, 2 summers ago here in Auburn, their 3rd summer in the league, he ended up finishing 28 2/3 innings and finished with 36 punch-outs on the summer, so he's no stranger to finding himself in the K column as Camilleri taking a called strike 1. Camilleri popping up to shortstop Vasquez his first time up. Vasquez took a couple of Walton steps backwards out in a shallow left center and was able to make a play. Rolls off the glove of Camilleri and the count's to 1-1. Outlaws to this point, 3 runs on 3 hits. Doubledays credited with an error on that Zach Rao ball to right. So they have 1 on their line, but they got 3 runs and the 4 hits thus far. That's a called strike. And Camilleri going to be in 2-strike approach with 2 outs as the count is 1-2. Turning the check back to second is Pokovich. Fires. That'll drift up high, ball 2, and around abs the bag as he gets to third. So, count 2-2. Coming up in the bottom half of the inning, we will take a look at both sides' standings here in the East and West. Is Camilleri, little brush bat pitch, and count runs full. We flashed our Eastern Division standings up on the board, but we'll kind of talk about some of the implications and the playoff pictures looking like at this point, especially on our side. West certainly important as well to keep an eye on, especially with this being a cross-divisional game with Auburn sitting 4th in the West and could make up some ground here. Camilleri going to take an off-speed, called strike 3. Man, he is frustrated after that, and don't blame him at all. We go to the bottom of the 3rd here in Auburn, and it is a 3-2 score, or 3-3 score. Back here to Auburn, and Dangler offering up a first pitch called straight to Gianni DeSerbo as we're right back at it, bottom 3. Outlaws responding with a couple of runs in the top half of the frame to keep this to tight ball game as count will go 1-1. His Doubledays team is just starting off a stretch where they play 7 consecutive games at home, 2 of which are exhibition contests. Is on Sunday, Ottawa will be here for a 5:30 start after a couple more days of PGCBO West games that do count, starting tomorrow with a 6:30 tilt against Niagara Falls. This one, a little daisy cutter towards third. Woodridge on the run, bombs it to Waiting in time to get the out. 5-3. So DeSerbo's retired, and now, no, base runner's not an out. What am I doing? Now Troy Reeder will come up. He grounded into a 5-3 double play in the first inning. It was a ball that was sharply hit at Woodridge. He kind of knocked it down, kept it in front of him, rushed to the bat to get the force to retire Matt Fishman. And then Troy Reeder on the cross diamond throw was forced out as he now trails in the 0-1. 0-1, and that one comes up off Dangler. He's taking a beating back behind the plate. Dangler is down on his knees behind the plate, and he is having a hard time getting back up. Auburn's got a trainer coming out, and Dangler clearly in some distress here for the Outlaws. So that's certainly, again, with a guy who's dealt with injuries all summer, not what you want to see right about now. Do got 2 catchers available in the dugout, so we will see if the Laws are going to make a change. But we're going to step aside for a quick break in the meantime here in Auburn. Again, it's an 0-2 count with 1 out and a 3-3 score. Here at Falcon Park in Auburn, Darren Dangler is going to remain in the ballgame behind the plate for the Laws. Had Ian Wirt starting to get his gear on, but luckily Dangler able to stay on in here. He has been remarkable for this team. I mean, he was a 2024 Outlaw, did a lot for this team, was a big heart and soul piece, and now right now trying to give this team a spark, staying in the game, saying, you know, I might be down, but I can get right back up and stay on in here. And he shook that off after laying there for a little bit, got some water in him, took his gear off, and kind of checked out his range of motion, and he's just fine. So probably going to have a bruise later. Dangler will pick up a swinging K on Troy Reeder, but not going to matter to him. He gives anything to wear this Outlaw name and wants to wear that logo. But Parker Schwake now going to come to the plate with 2 outs. Schwake had an RBI single back in the first inning, gave the Doubledays their first run as he hits that one hard liner at Woodridge, fires it on a 1-skip to Waiting, and it rolls away. So that going to allow Parker Schwake to reach. It'll be an error. It wasn't a bad throw at all by Woodridge. I mean, he had it there, but Waiting was just trying to pick that one, and I don't know what happened there, if it was just a bad skip or what, but Schwake is on, and it'll be Alex Vasquez's turn with 2 outs, and he takes first pitch called strike. Nobody's up and throwing as of yet for the Outlaws in right. As I mentioned in our pregame, only 2 arms available behind Dangler tonight, and Dangler trying to pick off and drills Pat. So that certainly not ideal. Darren springing up, and Pat just couldn't duck, get out of the way, and looks like it plunked him on the forearm. So Schwake a stolen base. He goes to second, and Dangler's having a quick conversation with Alex Vasquez. It's like Auburn's got a new arm warming up. We might see a pitching change for them coming up. But short lead off second for Schwake. And Dangler's keeping an eye on him. Is this one pulled out left center side on over? That drops in front of Zach Rao. He'll turn and shoot it in, but Parker Schwake has scored. That's an RBI hit. Alex Vasquez, and Auburn takes the lead back 4-3. So that is far from ideal. Is you were hoping that could find a way to get out of the half inning, but instead it's a 1-run lead, and Caden Albright going to take called strike 1. Albright struck out looking in the second inning on a 10-pitch at bat against Dangler. It was certainly a warrior-on-warrior type of bat as Dangler now trying to pick off an airmail to throw high into center field. That takes a couple of skips. Uhara bombs it over to third, and luckily Woodridge able to pick it off the turf. But 2-base advancement, that'll be an E2. And just like that, now another run for the Doubledays, 90 feet away from scoring. So those are just things that you got to clean up here if you're Oneonta moving forward. You can't have those miscommunications. You can't have those errant throws. And even though you got 3 catchers all with strong arms behind the plate, some unforeseen throws have just kind of been happening here time and time again. I've seen a couple especially from Zach Porter, and I can't think of one particularly from Ian Wirtz that I was like, man, why'd you throw that? Or Ian Wirtz, his fielding percentage really dang high behind the plate at every level that he's been at, but there's just a few little things, again, like a throw like that you just got to talk about, and you got to say, look, that can't be a thing. 0-2 on the ground, third base side, and that's a slow roller foul. So we'll keep going. 3 pitches already to Albright, and now Dangler tries again. Out towards the left, drifting in. Zach Rowe on the 1-hop. Gonna get it in, but Alex Vasquez scores, and it's 5-3 Doubledays. As the hits aplenty just keep coming. So the 2-out stuff just continues to be a problem here for this Outlaw team. Bonfiglio flew out to right his first time up as Dangler gonna throw the ball back after a miss, and it's a 1-0 count. This Outlaw team tonight, the start of a stretch of 5 consecutive on the road. Tomorrow we're in Mohawk Valley. 6:35 start. Friday we go to Glens Falls. That'll be a 7 p.m. start at Eastfield. Saturday we're at Utica, 6:45 start. And then Sunday finally wrapping out this road stretch, 7:05 start at Cantine. Big swing and a miss, and the pickoff sliding over Robinson, keeps it in front of him, but the bad nab, Caden Albright in the scoring position with 2 outs and a 1-1 count. Looking at the standings here in the PGCBL East at this point, winners of 5 consecutive at the top, both Amsterdam and Saugerties. Mohawk leading the thing at 21-6-1, and the Saugerties Stallions right behind them at 17-10. Stallions are sitting 4 games back. Boonville's in third, right on the Stallions' heels, 16-10-1, 4.5 back, and winners of 2 in a row, both of which have been against Oneonta. Checking a runner, 2-1, and that one caught off the edge of the bat, and so it'll go 2-2. Behind Boonville, the 4th spot is Mohawk Valley at 14-13-1. They're 7 games back and have gone just 4-5-1 over their last 10, but they've now added a couple of pieces and are looking for a big push here to the end of things. 2-2, swung right through, and that'll end the inning right there. So Bonfiglio retired on the 3rd K of the outing for Dangler. We're through 3 here in Auburn, and the Doubledays have a 5-3 lead. Top of the fourth inning, back here in Auburn, and Connor Waiting going to take a strike call to start things off against a new arm on the bump for the Doubledays. Eston Alco taking things over. 5'11", 175 southpaw is Waiting out to the corner. Went to the Doubledays clubhouse area, and it'll go 2. But Alco, Ithaca native, he graduated from Ithaca High School and is attending Middlebury College. Just finished his freshman year there. He's got a 6.91 ERA so far this summer for Auburn. As he spikes that one, the count will go to a ball and 2 strikes. He is 2-0 though in 8 appearances, 14 and 3rd innings, 8 hits, 12 runs, 11 earned. He's walked 22 and struck out 13, so that 22 is certainly the outlier on his stat line, and hopefully he can cut that number down the rest of the way. Another will go with the 1-2, and that creeped into Waiting and plunked him on his left leg. So he'll get on courtesy of the HBP, and now the Outlaws going to hope to get going and get some runs back. Crooked numbers on the board in each of the first 3 half innings, and so you desperately hope that can kind of get some offense back and then calm the storm on the pitching and defensive side of the ball. There's a called strike, and Woodridge will fall behind 0-1. But finishing our look at the standings that we started in the last half inning, the bottom 3 following Amsterdam, Saugerties, Boonville, and Mohawk Valley got Utica in 5th at 10-12-1. They're 8.5 back, so not too far back of Mohawk Valley. They're definitely within striking distance, but I mean at this point it's kind of sitting eye game as to who's going to get in, who's not, kind of in those spots where, you know, you're sitting on the edge thinking maybe we have a chance, maybe we don't. Glens Falls is 9-18. They're 12 games back, so they got 5 games to make up if they want to get on in there behind Mohawk Valley. And then the Outlaws at the bottom at 4-22 and could be eliminated as soon as next week from playoff contention. So you certainly hope that this team can find a way to prevent that and can hang in and play competitive ball the rest of the month. But Alco's taking a look at the base runner, the 1-2, down low and outside, and it counts to 2-2. Alco's certainly been pitching much better at home than he has on the road. His splits are remarkable. Two-two. And that'll roll off the glove of Mahar. And count runs full with still nobody away. That's in front of the dish, is hit the turf and came up. So Woodridge will get on courtesy of the walk. And still the Outlaws have been struggling to get hits, but they've been getting base runners. They've left 3 on already, and now they have 2 on for Owen Burnsworth, who had a single in his 2nd inning trip to the plate. Burnsworth took a 2-0 pitch and hammered it off the rubber on the mound and took a big hop into the air out towards the shortstop area, and he was able to at least get himself a hit. I mean, with Woodridge getting caught stealing in front of him, there wasn't too much that you could do. And Matthew Petrosi's coming out, and he's going to have an early talk with Alco. Auburn doesn't look like they got anybody starting to throw and get loose as of yet. But if Alco continues to have a hard time, like it seems like he's starting to, could find a way to get somebody up and throwing before too much time goes by. You definitely don't want to burn through a lot of arms in a game like this. Certainly not that deep to try to go full power to win an exhibition game. But you hope that you can make it respectable and hope that you can give your team a chance to win regardless, especially in front of the home crowd. 1-0. Burnsworth straight up the middle. That'll drop in center for a base hit. Waiting's being waved around. We should have a play at the plate as Mahar slaps the tag, and Waiting dives around it. All the way to second goes Burnsworth. The run is scored, and it is going to be a 5-4 game. Waiting, what a slide, and that was pretty. So Burnsworth gets an RBI single and advances on the throw. Woodridge goes all the way to third, and the Laws are within one, as this has been quite the back and forth here through the first couple innings. Now it's Hugo Conhorse. And he'll hit a slow dribbler towards third, charging it. Bonfiglio checking the runners, and he got it to first in time to Schwake. So they get the one out. It was a very veteran play for Bonfiglio, the way he handled that one. He just kind of glanced over the shoulder, looked and made sure that Woodridge wasn't going to move, and then kind of turned his head just a little bit, making sure Burnsworth wasn't off to a run as well, and then just whips it off and still had enough time to get Hugo Conhorse. So knowing your opponent, knowing the strengths, weaknesses definitely helps, and Bonfiglio definitely knew that that was what he had to do in a spot like that, and he made it work. Zach Robinson struck out swinging in the third inning, and now he trails 0-1 in the count. Now a swing and a miss, and the count's 0-2. Robinson will now come back to the plate and settles in. The 0-2. Shot straight up the middle into center field. Woodridge has scored. Burnsworth is being waved around. Another throw from Sullivan to the plate. On line, but not in time. To second goes Robinson. 2 runs are scored. Laws take the lead at 6-5. So what a sequence of events here for Oneonta is back and forth seesaw type game continuing. Give 2 RBIs, Zach Robinson, and it's just offensive fireworks here at Falcon Park. So top of the lineup we go for Kazuhara, and running on over to third, Zach Robinson, ball on the right side, scooped and thrown. Fishman couldn't get it to Swake, an infield single for Uhara, and Oneonta just keeps on rolling as Robinson goes to third, and so it's runners at the corners with 1 out. Matt Carrera walked to the plate, and Auburn starting to get another arm up and throwing and left. So Estinelko's line might not be too long. This one will be fouled up on the first base line, over the screen and into the seats. So it's 0-1. Carrera's already been on base twice tonight, both times courtesy of Watts. Couple of stolen bases and a run scored as well. 0-1, and Carrera, a taser beam in foul territory, drifting on over. Parker Sway reaches up over the shoulder and made the snag. Racing from third, Robinson has scored. And Uhara advancing to second as well. Heads up base running for Oneonta that pays off that time. So you trade another run for an out, but He'll take that all day long. So P3 and an RBI. It's very rare you get an RBI and a pop-up that doesn't leave the infield, but that's exactly what happens. And love to see it. So get some much-needed insurance. 7-5, and Zach Rao going to dice one off foul, and so he'll trail 0-1 in the count. We're kind of sliding over and just caught it at a weird angle. And now time going to be called by Rao. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Has an RBI to his credit. Final line on Pokovich was 3 innings, 3 runs, 1 earned run, 3 hits. He walked 2, struck out 6, and had 2 hit by pitches. Dangler, the cleanup hitter, waiting on deck as the 0-2. Swung on and missed, and the half inning comes to a close. So the Outlaws pop 4 runs here in this 4th inning and really get the scoring going, really get the bats alive, and that's what you love to see. 7-5, they'll take the lead to the bottom half of the 4th here in Auburn. Bottom of the 4th inning here in Auburn. Tyler Young going to take a miss from Dangler down and in, and the count will go to 1-0. Doubledays got to try to get some runs back. They put crooked numbers on the board in each of the first 3 half innings. This team has regularly been good at putting runs across, and now it's just a matter of can they do it in a situation where it's kind of a back and forth, you score, we score type of game. And they've had games like that. They've had some shootout matches. They've had some low-scoring games. They've had some blowout games. This team has had games of every situation so far. And Young takes a 4-pitch walk to get this 4th inning started. So the base running party continues here at Falcon Park. And Matt Mahar will waltz up next. Mahar had a single and got stranded on the base pass. Is that one? Looks like he caught it off the end of the bat, and count will go 1. Dangler 0-1. Another one going to miss up high. Count to 1-1. Short lead off first, Tyler Young. Here's the pitch, and that'll sail low. Pat Dangler, it seems like having a hard time locating his spots here starting this fourth inning. Nobody's throwing yet for Oneonta in the bullpen. There's a miss in, and both Danglers will just eat it. No throw attempted. So Young goes to second. It'll be a stolen bag with still nobody out. Six hits for the loss, 7 for Auburn so far. There's a couple of grounds. And Woodridge checking a runner and fires cross diamond for the out. So 5-3, put it in your scorebook. And Mitch Mahar retired. And back to the top of the lineup we go for Adam Sullivan. We talked about the East Division standings, but now let's talk about the West Division ones. You got 8 teams in this division. 6 will make the playoffs. Batavia's at the top at 18-9-1. Niagara Falls sitting in second, 19-11, just a half game back. Got Jamestown in third, 18-11, and they're just one game back, so all neck and neck, and Auburn's right there with them, 16-10-4, a game and a half back. Then things get a little further apart is the 0-1. Couple of skips, and Robinson, one knee, fires to waiting in time to get the out. Zach Robinson with a remarkable play gets the outs. And that's huge. Man, Outlaw defense looking like they're going on lock right about now. So Young goes to third. There's 2 outs, and Matt Fishbin will come up. But going back to what I was saying, Elmira, 15-13-1. They're 3.5 back, but have won 2 in a row. Then you got the Newark Pilots, who are 14-13-1. They're 4 back. Geneva, second to last, 7-20-1, 11 back. And then the Niagara Ironbats are, of course, 4-24. And they're 14.5 back. Count to 1-1 on Match Fishbin. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning, got forced out, 5 unassisted, and then he popped to second to end the second inning, and this one gets away. Dangler on one knee, won't attempt the throw. Run scores, and Auburn is back within 1 on a wild pitch. So, add that in at the run scores on the wild pitch, and a very fluky trip around the bases for Tyler Young. A walk, a stolen base, advancing on a ground out, and then scores on a wild pitch. How often do you hear all that? But nothing wrong with it at all. Doubledays will take it. Dangler's line now up to 6 runs allowed tonight, and we'll calculate how many earned here shortly. Yohara, a couple of jogging steps, makes the grab, and that'll end the half inning right there. Not before, though, the Doubledays get another run here at home. It'll be 1 run, no hits, no errors, and none left on. And 4 innings are in the books. Top 5 coming up next here on Laws YouTube, and Oneonta clinging on to a 1-run lead. Top of the fifth inning, and Oneonta's got a 7-6 lead as we bring it back here to Falcon Park. We got a new pitcher on the hill for the Doubledays, and there's a first pitch called strike, and Dangler falls behind 0-1. Dangler's 0 for 2 with a couple of looking Ks, and now takes a miss down and outside, and the count even to 1-1. Behind him, it's Lorenzo Camarilli and Connor waiting here in this half inning, as that'll come on inside the zone and the count to 1-2. Sitting on the first base side of the rubber, the 1-2 drifts on in there for a called strike 3, and there's one away. So Dangler rung up for the third time tonight. He's just been having a hard time getting the bat off the shoulder. And quickly we'll go to Lorenzo Camarilli. Camilleri pop out to short and a strikeout looking thus far on the night. He's 0 for 2. Now he skyrockets one out towards the left center gap, chugging on over. That one caught over the shoulder. Caden Albright almost misplayed it, but he's able to haul it in, and there's 2 away. Again, still trying to figure out who's on the hill here for Auburn. And waiting, going to take a miss down and away for ball 1. And now that one will creep on in for ball 2. Waiting, hit by a pitch his last time up after taking a swinging K, and there's a called strike, and it's 2-1. Went to a fastball, it hit 83. Two-1, and that's spiked and gets away. His count goes 3-1. The 3-1 comes high, and waiting will fire the bat away as he's on with 2 outs, courtesy of a free pass. So now Woodridge will waltz up and hope to keep this 2-out rally going. Laws have been good with 2 outs on the board tonight. Woodridge goes pulling for one down low, and he can't bomb it the way he wants, so he'll trail 0-1. He was hit by a pitch in the second inning, got forced down on the base pass 1-3-4. He also walked and scored a run in the 4th. 0-1. And that one spiked on in, and it hit Woodridge on the way as well, so he'll toss the bat away. And that's now back-to-back on for the Laws with 2 outs. So advance waiting to second, Woodridge on first, and Burnsworth will come up. They're going to now move Woodridge back. So leave waiting at second, wild pitch, but again, bring Woodridge back, and it'll be a 1-1 count. Some weird, fluky stuff going on in this exhibition game. That one in towards the knees. Counts to 2-1. Waiting with about a quarter lead off second, and Woodridge goes pulling for another. His count goes to 2-2. Another 2-out offering, and that one just above the shoelaces. Count runs full on Woodridge. Behind Woodridge is Owen Burnsworth, as I said once already, and Woodridge out towards shallow center, drops it in. Waiting, being halted at third, not wanting to be gunned out at the plate, so stops right there, and it's first and third with 2 outs, and now the red hot Owen Burnsworth to come on up to swing it. So Owen Burnsworth to come on in. Again, he's 2 for 2, returning to the Outlaws tonight. And he's looking for his first 3-hit game ever wearing the Oneonta Threads. In Coach Keaton Moore's first year in the head, Owen played 4 games, and he only mustered 1 hit over the span. And then, of course, I already talked about his struggles last summer. But now he's come back, and he looks like a whole new player as he clips that one off the bat, and the count's 1-1. If he continues to play at this level, Burnsworth is definitely going to command more time on the field moving forward, especially with a couple Outlaws that have left already and a couple more taken off later this week. Jack Clark, Jace Kohler going to be heading home. They will not be with us following. I think they're leaving either Friday or Saturday. As Burnsworth trying to go opposite way, drops it in shallow right. Waiting is scored, around in second. Woodridge going to go to third. Burnsworth lays down a double, and he's got another RBI. What a return to Oneonta. So Burnsworth continues to rake here in Auburn, and scores now 8-6. I wanted to add Woodridge scoring in my book, but not quite yet. Second and third again with 2 outs, and Hugo Conors, he's 0 for 2, trying to join the Outlaws on base frenzy. Him, Lorenzo Camilleri, Darren Dangler are the only 3 guys who haven't been on base at least once so far of the starting 10. So 7 of 10 have been on at least once. Here's we're in the 5th inning. And Conors right towards short range and on over Vasquez. And Conors lays it out. So Schwake comes off the bat. That will be an infield single for Conors yet again. And Woodridge crossing the plate as Burnsworth goes to third, and it's runners at the corners with 2 outs. So that's a big one here yet again for the Outlaws. Robinson 1 for 2. Had a 2 RBI single and a run scored his last time up, and now takes a miss outside and the count's to 1-0. Here's the pitch, and that'll come on up towards the hands. Counts to 2-0. There's a big swing and a miss, and count will go to 2-1. Robinson's been good at hunting those pitches down and away. And here's another one that'll drift up high. It counts 3-1. Fishbin will creep up towards second. And with both of the corners, Robinson on the ground to third, diving down. Bonfiglio, the throw going to be high and not in time as Schwake comes off yet again. Robinson, that will be an infield single and an RBI. He's got 3 on the night as Burnsworth scored. Conors goes to second, and the Laws continuing to push runs across as this has been the offensive performance of the year so far. They've matched their run total from their second to last victory in Utica, which came on June the 22nd. Put 10 is on a bounce towards short. Vasquez guns it cross diamond and finally in time as Uhara is forced out 6-3. And there was 13 runs that night. I apologize. At a 10 spot earlier on in the year, but that's not important. The Laws with 10 runs, though, on the scoreboard, and that's huge as we're halfway home. Bottom 5 coming up is, again, it is 10-6 in favor of Oneonta here at Falcon Park. Bottom of the 5th inning, and Outlaws going to make a call to the bullpen as Dengler's out after 4 innings, and Colin Carver taking over, and he's going to be looking to give some innings here out of the pen. He hasn't thrown a whole lot this summer, has a lot of juice in the tank, and considering there's only Alex Burstiaga, the available arms that Keaton March said he was going to use tonight, left, it's kind of going to come down to Carver really needs to go 2, 3, even 4 here out of the pen, but a minimum of 2 going to be acceptable as that one in towards DeSerbo and the count to 2-1. Looking at Colin Carver's stats from the summer so far, a 13 ERA, 0-1 6 appearances. He's gone 9 innings, 18 hits, 17 runs, 13 earned, walked 11 and struck out 11. And command has kind of been an issue. 3 wild pitches and a hit by pitch are ready to a stat line. 2-2. DeSerbo able to hit it off the barrel. Carver, all but one of his appearances over the last 2 weeks have been at home. Is that one off his glove, knocked it down, turns, underhands it to Waiting, and that is a big out. It takes a lot as a pitcher to have that quick reflex to get your glove up like that, but Carver just kind of knew it was coming, whacked it down, and that is kind of a veteran play. You just knock it down and know that it's right in your general vicinity. And Troy Reeder will now settle in. Reeder, a 5-3 double play and a strikeout swinging is Woodridge. A nice spin play over to first. Gets the out, so 5-3. Reeder is forced out, and there's 2 down. Now it's Parker Schweight's turn. He's been on base twice. Had an RBI single in the first and an E3 stolen base and a run scored in the third. Carver hanging out first base side of the mound. Going to offer up a first pitch called strike, and it counts to 0-1. And that one will drift up towards the hands, and the count goes to 1-1. Carver waits and fires, and that one swung right through, and the count to 1-2. This one angled up the first baseline. I'm going to take a drop in foul territory, and so Schweik will hang alive as he's already seen 4. Coming up in the 6th inning, Laws will have 2, 3, 4, started by Matt Carrera. Is Carver down low. Counts 2-2. Carver gets a swing and a miss and gets out of the inning. It's a 1-2-3, and the first one worked by any pitcher in this ball game tonight, and that is huge as the Outlaws need to get the outs in short order. We go top of the 6th here in Auburn, and it is a 10-6 Outlaw lead. Top of the sixth here at Falcon Park, and the Outlaws in double figures in this exhibition contest scored 7 in the first game against Auburn in the home opener back on June the 3rd, and now have eclipsed that. Both teams have eclipsed their run total from that matchup, and it has been offensive firepower. It has been a staff day for both sides. Dangler went 4 innings, and then Carver now with 1 completed behind him out of the pen. Auburn going to their 4th arm already as Carrera swinging right through one to trail 0-1 in the count. Pokovich went 3 innings to start it. Elko went 1 behind him, and we found out Zach Herzig was the pitcher in that last half inning. Is Carrera, shallow ball, out right side, drifting in to Serbo, but back to get it is Fishman, and that will be the first out of the inning. Went about 6 steps back on the outfield grass and able to haul it down, so Carrera's retired, and it will go to Zach Brown. But the new arm on the hill this half inning for Auburn is Zach Ruffing. 2 appearances, he's gone 5 2/3, surrendered 4 hits, walking 3, striking out 2. Sitting on the first base side of the rubber, that one going to miss down and away, and it counts to 1-0. That one going to drift up in, and it counts to 2-0. And Rao, another one, straight back to the screen. And counts 2-1 here with 1 down.
Doubledays got to help themselves. A lot of the reason why they're down in this hole right now is because they shot themselves in the foot, whether it be because of the errors or how many errors they had.
Rao, another big swing, and it counts to 2-2.
Which is plays that, not necessarily simple plays or routine plays, but plays that eventually need to be made, and when they aren't made, they add up and they continue.
Rao looks for one as that gets through the lays and Mahar and rolls to the backstop as it counts to 3-2.
Now in the 6th inning here, looking to add to it, Doubledays need to clean that area up. They want a chance to play better.
So Rao in a full count with 1 out, and Hill put this one on the right side. Fishman puts that one to the glove, a swake, as he kind of corralled it in, put that hand over the ball. It's kind of the fundamentals of ball that you teach right there. Got to see prime examples of that yesterday. Is continue to talk about how special that Little League clinic that some of these Outlaw players put on for players from Morris yesterday morning really was. It was a great experience for all our 7 players who helped out at it, really enjoyed it, and had about 30 Morris Little League baseball, softball players who were there and experienced it. And it was just unreal. Went through some base running stuff, went through some throwing stuff, went through some drills, went through some infield stuff, some outfield stuff, did a little bit of pitching work with the pitchers as well, and just everybody seemed to have a great time, and had lunch with the kids after, gave them T-shirts, did some water balloon toss, and it's just those little things you're going to remember for a long time. Got some players on this Outlaw team, our local players, who talk about the Outlaw baseball camps and clinics from back in the day that they were a part of. Those went by the wayside for a number of years, and now we're trying to do what we can to revitalize that and bring them back as Dangler retired looking. And he's got the golden sombrero with 4 strikeouts tonight. So 1, 2, 3 worked by Zach Ruffing. And we go bottom 6 here in Auburn. And still the Doubledays trailing this one by a 10-6 score. Bottom of the sixth, Alex Vasquez, Caden Albright, Mark Bonfiglio is at 6, 7, 8 in the Doubledays order. And Colin Carver, who takes one up and in and counts one out. Carver is a very interesting personality, to say the least, on this Outlaw team. Adds a lot down in the clubhouse, and he does come to Oneonta from Marist, but is looking for a new school for the fall. Marist just wasn't quite what he envisioned it to be. Enjoyed his time there, loved his teammates, but wants a place where he can kind of settle in, find himself as a person, help him get to his ultimate career goals, but still get the opportunity to play a lot of baseball. He wasn't throwing a lot at Marist, so hopefully he can go somewhere where he can be a key cog in a rotation or a shutdown guy out of the bullpen. And he's shown flashes of brilliance out of the Outlaw pen this summer. He's not a guy who's probably going to be a starter, except in the rare world where he becomes like a short 2, 3, 4 inning starter guy. Is this one on a one-op? Robinson going to field and gets it to waiting quickly and one away. But, I mean, you have seen that philosophy of short starters work. It's kind of been one of those trending topics at the pro level for a while. That, I mean, Shohei Ohtani is kind of that way right now. You're not going to see Shohei Ohtani going a 9-inning CG, but you'll see him go a couple of short innings. And you've seen a lot of pitchers, especially recovering from injury, do it. And hopefully at this level, if you really want it to work, you can make it work somehow. Carver, it's just a matter of having him inside the zone. He's got the velo there. When you're chilling, mid-80s here at college, you can definitely get some outs, but hitting your spots and working in some new pitches are going to be keys for Carver moving forward as count goes to 1-1. Albright is 1 for 2 on the night so far. Strikeout looking in the second. And then he singled and stole second in the third. And now this one shot up taller than the Swiss Alp Pete's to left center. Uehara over, and he hauls it down. And there's 2 away. Ball just kept carrying in the air. Didn't know if it was going to come down. But finally it does. And Mike Bonfiglio, who's 0 for 2, will waltz up next for the Doubledays. Coming up in the 7th inning, we will take another look at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard. And we want to remind you, most exhibitions you only play 7, but we are playing 9 here at Falcon Park in Auburn tonight. So don't expect that we only got 1 more inning to go, because that's not the case. Just as when Auburn came to Oneonta for Damaski Field's opening night here in 2025, we're playing 9 here in Auburn tonight as well. Return the favor. 0-1 to Bonfiglio. Down and outside as Dangler slid over as the count draws even. Carver, it seems like, really trying that pitch out action. Carver rocking around on that first base side of the mound deal. And down almost to a knee Bonfiglio as the count gets to 1-2. And now Carver needs just one put down pitch to get himself out of the half inning. Carver rocking those red cleats on the mound here for the Laws. Has the 19 on the back. Is the 1-2 spun on high. And counts 2-2. Carver 2-2. Swung on and missed, and that'll end the half inning. So Colin Carver has come out of the bullpen, and he's been locked down. He's seen 6. He's retired all 6. Into the 7th inning we go out here in Western New York. It remains 10-6. Oneonta. Back here to Oneonta YouTube, top of the 7th, and Outlaws going to have Lorenzo Camarilli foul one straight back to the netting as he'll fall behind 0-1 in the count. Same pitcher remains on the bump here for Auburn Doubledays as Ruffing, first one out of the bullpen, who has gone more than a single, as Elko and Herzig in front of him just went one apiece behind their starter and Pokovich, who went 3. Camarilli now going to find himself in a 1-1 count. He's 0 for 3 so far. Pop to short, a strikeout looking, and a fly out to left. And now taser beams one right to the screen, and count will go to 1-2. Ruffing does have the stuff to come right at you, trying to fill up the zone, keep those pitches in there. And this one will bounce away. Count's going to roll to 2-2. Ruffing gets and fires first base side, and that just up, and counts to 3-2. As we promised, another look at the PGCBI out-of-town scoreboard. Game 1 between Glens Falls and Mohawk Valley now on the books. Diamond Dogs take that in a 14-7 score, so they nab 2 touchdowns to the Dragons 1. Top of the 7th in Geneva, Mutt Dogs an 8-2 lead over the Red Wings. Top of the 6th at Elmira, Pilots trailing the Pioneers 7-2. Bottom of the 7th in Canada, and Niagara Falls Americans have a 7-3 lead over the Iron Bats is in shallow center. That's going to get hauled out of the lights by Sullivan, and there's one away. Top of the 7th in Utica, and the Boonville Lumberjacks have pulled it back to a 1-run contest as they're trailing the Blue Sox 5-4. Top of the 6th, Amsterdam at Socrates, Stallions a 2-0 advantage. And then in the top of the 2nd of Game 2, Glens Falls and Mohawk Valley, it's Goose Eggs on the board for both sides, is Connor waiting down in the count 0-1 early. Waiting another big swing, trying to pull for one outside, and he's down 0-2. That one just a little bit low. Counts 1-2. Ruffing another one. Waiting. Somehow caught that one with the end of the bat. Looked pretty dang close to not clipping it. Came around a little bit late on it, so he got lucky. Is Ruffing quick working, going to go for it again. Steps and fires. And just off the plate. Outlaws continuing to lead here by 4. Bullpen's totally quiet out in left field, so Colin Carver will come out for a 3rd inning. That one going to get waiting, looking knee height. So he doesn't offer at all. There's 2 away. That's a pitch you got to be swinging at. And down will go to Thomas Woodridge. Woodridge going to try to find a way to get on base. And he'll take a miss down and outside, and the count's to 1 out. Outlaws have not had a base runner since that 5th inning RBI single by Zach Robinson. His count will draw even, 1-1. This one hammered up the line in foul territory, and the count will go to 1-2. This one over towards third, scooped up on Figlio, not going to get a throw off. And so Woodridge able to get on over to first. That will be an E5 and a costly one to keep that inning going, and it ends the streak of 7 straight Oneonta Outlaws retired. So Burnsworth going to settle on in. And he'll take a called strike. Doubledays, the defensive miscues that really hurt them in this contest tonight. Can't stress that enough. It's the 4th error they've had so far. 3rd by their infield. Is that one will come up towards the belt and the count to 1-1. And there's a called strike low. This one poked towards first, gets past the glove of Swade, scooped up though by Fishbein and guns it to first. Ruffing covers the bag. How about it? That was clutch. So 4-1. Burnsworth retired, and he's retired for the first time tonight as well. And we will go stretching here in Auburn as Outlaws stay in the driver's seat, 10-6. Bottom 7 here in Auburn. Colin Carver back out for a 3rd inning of work, and he'll miss up high and in with one. Get the AB started against Tyler Young. Carver has been phenomenal here coming out of the bullpen. And that one a called strike, and the count's 1-1. Dating back to the end of Dangler's outing, it has now been 9 straight Auburn Doubledays retired as Young goes ripping right through one to trail 1-2 in the count. Carver again sets up on the first base side, the 1-2. Misses opposite batter's box, 2-2. Dangler with a nice little glove stick down and made sure that one didn't get away. He's had a hard time getting his footing back at the plate tonight, having taken 4 Ks. Is this a bouncing ball? Robinson on the run, bombs it to Waiting in time. 4-3. This has been Colin Carver in primo fashion. thus far here out of the bullpen. This outing has been lights out. Is now 2 1/3, and he's been perfect. So Matt Mahar, the Mercyhurst product, up to swing it here for the Doubledays. There's a swing and a miss. Carver only sitting at low 80s right now. Fastest one he's thrown here on the hill tonight so far is 83. Is the 0-1. Bounce, stops it side. Count will go 1-1. Carver now deals, and there's a miss upstairs. 2-1. After Mahar, top of the lineup coming up for Auburn. Both teams batting 10 tonight. For the Outlaws, it's interesting when we talk about the batting 9 versus batting 10, because it seems like when you talk about players, coaches, pitchers alike, everybody's kind of got a different feel, different view on it. I was just talking about it last night when Pat Dengler popped up to our broadcast with him for the inning he was up there, talking about how weird it is your entire life as both a player or coach or whatever, come to a league like this where you get that opportunity, and it just kind of cuts down that turnover rate in terms of your lineup and takes away some at-bats from guys at the top who might be swinging it better. But when you're looking for offense, you're looking for spark plugs, batting 10 is kind of a nice thing too as well, because it can kind of give you a little bit of space to say, like, hey, look, you might be struggling, but here's an extra guy that might be able to pick you up, or here's an extra opportunity for somebody that might need it, sort of thing. And there's just pluses and minuses to it, but there's just about pluses and minuses to everything in life. Mahar does reach, and he's on first with one away. First base runner to reach against Carver as we back to the top of the lineup for Adam Sullivan as he takes a miss high, ball 1. Adam Sullivan's 2 for 3 tonight. Pair of singles, has an RBI, and scored the first run of the day for the Doubledays way back when in inning 1. Doubledays got all of their 6 runs over the course of the first 4 innings. All their charges are earned as well to Pat Dengler, which is really frustrating for him. We were just having a quick conversation between half innings. It's the power of the cell phone. You can shoot a text back and forth, and so can always shoot a text to our starter or a reliever after they come out or whatnot and just kind of talk to them about what went right and wrong in that outing. And he was definitely frustrated because there was a couple of times in that outing, and I know I kind of talked about it while it was going on, but that he could have gotten out of some innings. A couple of those runs should have been unearned. Outlaws had a couple of defensive miscues that just didn't get thrown up on the board, as they have just one error thrown their way in this one to Auburn's 4, as it's 4-1 in that respect. But now back-to-back walks fired up by Carver, and you got to think that Coach Mart probably going to start to get somebody hot in the bullpen. And it would most probably be Alex Burciaga. And indeed it is. Burciaga going to go jogging down to the bullpen. I don't know if you can see him. Yeah, it's just out of your view line with Ian Wirtz. So Burciaga will probably start to get thrown here shortly. He did throw 2 innings to close out the game yesterday at home against Boonville's. Just 17 pitches to get out of the 2 innings. And he's got a lot of energy. Wants to throw again here tonight. You hope that Carver can finish off this inning, though, and Burciaga only being tasked with 2 frames. To have 3 pitchers kind of divide up 9 innings between them is tough, especially when you ultimately hope that you can regularly get 4, 5, 6 innings out of your starter. And Denko did go 4, so that was nice. And to have Carver finish off 3 would definitely be huge and kind of unexpected. Look back to second, the 0-1, and that one came out of his hand weird, as it sailed past Max Fishman and gets to the backstop to move it to 1-1. So a wild pitch, advance both base runners up 90 feet. So it's a second and third situation. So again, second and third with 1 out, a 1-1 count, bottom 7 here in Western New York. We're live in Auburn here on Outlaw YouTube. That one gunned in there for a called strike 2. Outlaws back at it tomorrow in Mohawk Valley, and we'll be posting a link for the Diamond Dogs feed. I unfortunately will not be traveling tomorrow. Got a prior commitment to 10-2, so Diamond Dogs always have a pretty good feed. They got 2, and I think they're working on getting a 3rd camera angle up, so they'll have a good feed for you tomorrow. As this one out in the center field, Kazuara creeping in, bat to go. Robinson falls behind him. Cruising from 3rd, though, Mahar scores. Sullivan stops at 3rd, and it will be runners at the corners, as that's a costly miscue. So Doubledays crawl back within 3. As it's 10-7. So Fishbin scored as an RBI single to get the run in. We were careful to make sure they didn't go error there, but Mahar scores, advanced Sullivan to 3rd. It's 1st and 3rd, and now a stolen bat taken by Fishbin. So 1-0's your count. Is Gianni DeSerbo staying in to play the full 9 this time around. He did get the start opening night when the Doubledays were in Oneonta, but only played for the first 6 innings or so. Might have been only 5. Somewhere's in that general vicinity, though. It was a partial ball game nonetheless. And we do remind you that this 7th inning isn't the end of the ball game. Usually at divisions, you play just 7, but here, being as it's 2 PGCBL teams squaring off, we are playing a full 9 as opposed to being a non-league exhibition. So stay tuned. We'll still have 2 more innings coming up if you hadn't kind of gotten that gist with talking about getting more arms up and trying to fill 9 innings. You always got to spell things out just to make sure. Dangler's out there talking. Colin Carver right now. So Sullivan's at 3rd, Fishbine's at 2nd. 2-0's your count, 1 down, bottom 7. Auburn already pushing a run across for the first time since the 4th inning. That'll come up on high, and Carver finds himself down 3-0 in a hole. And that's a called strike, as it'll go to 3-1. Serbo looked like he wanted to go, but held up last second, so no harm doing there. Here's the 3-1, and this is hammered over the bleachers on this first base side where the Outlaw dugout is. Their pen's in right. Auburn's dugout is on the 3rd base side, and their bullpen in left field. Here on the home side, that's typically what it is. The home dugout is 3rd base and home bullpen in left. Carver the payoff offering, and that's high ball 4. So bases will be full of Doubledays here in this bottom of the 7th, and Coach Keaton March walking out is this might be the end of the line for Colin Carver. Colin Carver was putting together a real solid outing, and now he is indeed going to give the ball up. So Outlaws are making a call to the bullpen. We'll introduce you to the new arm when we come back, but there's one out here bottom 7, and they trail 10-7. Bottom 7, and Alex Burciaga going to come on in. You knew this was going to be his situation to work with, knowing the Outlaws didn't have anybody available. 0-3 Burciaga is, 6 appearances, and right about now you'd just love if he could give this team the rest of the way in this one, not have to sweat, not have to fret at all, because, again, Coach Smart just wanted to use the 3 arms. Now he's on his 3rd and still got 8 more outs to get. There's a called strike, and Troy Reeder finds himself in a 1-1 count. Burciaga coming off 2-inning appearance last night as well. It just kind of goes to show you the arm shortage this team finds themselves in. Trying to save arms for the rest of the week stretch as well. Get a few more arms on the weekend. He's got a couple of guys who are just weekend warriors or just home game warriors for this team. But on this stretch of 5 consecutive on the road, you do what you can, piece it together, get the job done. Right now it's just a matter of kind of playing the games and getting it done. As Burciaga off speed, only 63, but gets a swing and a miss. That's about as a freezer of a pitch as you can get. Burciaga just ice cold, getting a swing and a miss. 2 outs, and it's Parker Schweik now to bat. On base twice already tonight. Schweik going to take called strike 1, and it's 0-1. Burciaga now deals, and called strike 2. And Burciaga now needs just 1 more to escape the jam, as there's 3 ducks on the pond here for the Doubledays with 2 outs. The 0-2. Big swing and a miss, and there it is. Burciaga, he only needs 7 pitches to pick up the 2 Ks, get out of the inning, and his stuff just high 60s. But it gets it done, so that's about as Euphrates as you get. We go to the 8th inning here at Falcon Park in Auburn, and Oneonta in the driver's seat, 10-7. Back to Auburn, top 8. Laws are leading by a 10-7 score. Hugo Conhorst going to step on in to swing it and try to keep the Laws' offensive firepower going. He does just that, ripping a single first pitch swinging. He shoots one to left, just bulleted it as he barrels it up, and that's the way you want to start. As we'll go to Zach Robinson now with 1 on and nobody out. Robinson, 2 for 3. Struck out swinging. Has had a pair of singles. Also has 3 ribbies on the night. And now he'll take a called strike and fall behind 0-1. A pickoff attempt to first, and Swake is hanging right there. Received the pickoff. The 0-1 go, and Robinson about came out of his shoes, hacking for that one, as he'll go down 0-2. Outlaws tomorrow, we already talked about it, going to Mohawk Valley. Make sure you tune into the Diamond Dogs feed. Friday, we'll be back here live on YouTube, going to Glens Falls for a 7 o'clock start. Is the 0-2, and that one straight backwards as Robinson fouling it off to stay in the count. Saturday, we won't be live either, as we'll be in Utica. That's a pay-per-view, 6:45 your first pitch time. Make sure you pay the $11, watch the Blue Sox feed. And then Sunday, back to Saugerties. We'll be live 6:50 from Cantine for a 7 p.m. first pitch. 0-2. Sales upstairs, 1-2. And then finally we get back home Monday for our doubleheader, and then Tuesday as well for a single game against Utica. Doubledays and long stretch of playing games here at home is 1-2. And that'll miss up high. And count goes 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is just the beginning of a stretch of playing 7 consecutive here at Falcon Park for this Doubledays group. And now Robinson, a foul ball. So he's seen 6 already, still in a 2-2 count. So Robinson in a full count with nobody out. And Conors looking like he wants to run off first, but there's a miss. It's ball 4. Conors will go to second, so Outlaws first and second with nobody out, top of the lineup for Kazuhara, and they got somebody starting to get loose now down in the Auburn bullpen. Probably a good call. Uhara has been on base 3 times tonight. A hit by pitch, couple of singles, 2 runs scored. As that one will come on in towards him, ball 1. Roughing right down Maine with a swing and a miss. So Uhara was really trying to locate on that one. Roughing, turning and looking, both first and second, 1-1. And Uhara gonna rope it off foul. So 1-2. Uhara in his last at bat put one on the ground, 6-3 in the 5th inning. 1-2. Gonna sail up high. Uhara at the very least 2 singles on the night, and he did have 2 hits in the exhibition opener against Auburn as well, so he'll finish the year with minimum 4 hits and 6 trips on base against the Doubledays with a hit by pitch in each contest as well. Who knows, he may even get one more at bat as we still got the 9th inning to go, unless, of course, it explode for a handful of runs in this 8th inning. Roughing is 2-2, and Uhura able to catch it off the end of the barrel, and so we'll keep going. He's 6 pitches in, and count staying 2-2 as he's fouled off 4 of the 6.
That's why I said it wasn't a done deal, even with 2 strikes, because Uhura is going to make you work for a box.
2-2. And this one come up just over the screen. Stays in the ballpark. 7 pitches in here for Uhura.
He was only here for 17 games.
One important thing to note, 14 strikeouts for Uhura. He's been able to get sat down at times, but he's
Roughing. Went fastball as Uhura drops it in the corner. Send signs on around third as Hugo Conor's being waved to the plate. Sliding in head first, Zach Robinson gets all the way, just 90 feet from the plate, but Uhura picks up an RBI as that will be a double. And huge for the Outlaws is the offensive firepower just continues.
At bat, Uhura decided to go the other way with it. Great piece of hitting. It was a great battle between the two. Uhura gets the victory.
So again, Hugo Conor scores. Zach Robinson all the way to third. And it's second and third for the Laws with still nobody away. And now Matt Carrera in the box. And there's a miss upstairs. Count 1-0.
popped out his second 2 at-bats. Doubledays could really use a miracle here as the runners on second and third, 0 outs. There's a possibility with 2 flyouts, score 2 runs for this Outlaw squad.
1-0 pitch, misses up again. 2-0.
I see some loose one.
Carrera's just watching those on the outer side of the plate, just fly in.
Now, this is Ruffman's battle to fight. Ruffman
And there's another one. It's a little bit right even.
Took down the Outlaws.
And so,
But now,
just needs one more ball and it would load the bases. And you got to think that the leash starting to get really short here on Roughing. Hasn't shown much to keep him in, and now fires up a strike, and it's 3-1.
3-1 count. Carrera lets that one go.
3-1. Called strike, and 3-2.
Already started his walk over to first base. He'll take his way back over to the batter's
So this is a massive payoff. After a 3-0 lead, if Roughing could find a way to get a strikeout, that would be massive.
drop pitch.
And that one, clear shot out towards right, curves to foul territory.
Just be pesky with the amount of foul balls and full counts not going down without a fight.
Yeah,
It's made it difficult for Ruffing to get these strikeouts that are much needed.
I have not seen a team battle like this, especially just in this inning, like the Outlaws have. Like,
Bea
Then comes in.
on the ground towards second. Fishbein whips it low to Swake in time, but gets one. So Carrera, you trade the out for the run as Robinson comes on in to score, making it a 12-7 game. And Uhura goes to third. So again, it's now a 12-7 score. And there's one out on the board and just one left on the base paths.
any day of the week is now in the lead by 5. It's still a runner on third.
Rao, first pitch swing in, bombed up the middle, the turn, and that's in time. So 1-3, he's retired.
2 quick outs.
5 at bats already.
Doubledays as they look to avoid getting a better runner. Still, Travis Uhura on third base. Who's a looming third base. That brings
Darren Dangler 0 for 4 tonight, trying to snap his streak right about now.
trying to snap that skid.
And that one will sail up over his head. And he's waving to make sure that Kazuhara doesn't try to run.
What a stop and jump and grab from Matt Mahar behind the plate. That ball gets past him easily.
Dangler, all 4 of his strikeouts have been looking tonight.
Run scoring.
As he'll
Up there.
pop one up behind the plate, gets over the screen, and sounds like it stays in the ballpark. Gives the count to the ball on a strike.
Press box.
the play if the roof wasn't here.
Yeah, if the roof wasn't here, we could maybe use our jumping skills you had mentioned. Maybe with Michael Figfield jumping early in the game.
Roughing on the first base side, offers the 1-1, and Dangler a hard hit ball out to center field, chasing it back at him. Sullivan on the track makes the grab. And Dangler, that's what you know he can do. He can barrel up a ball, he can drive them. But the Outlaws, even though Dangler's flyout ends the inning, get a couple more runs. Auburn got one, and then the Outlaws tried for two more of their own, and their lead is 5, and we go bottom 8. It's a 12-7. Oneonta score. Bottom of the 8th, back here in Auburn. Alex Burciaga, after striking out 2 in a row, and Troy Reeder and Parker Schwait to end the 7th inning. Going to remain on the bump here for Oneonta. First one of the inning, going to drop in there for a called strike, and he gets it at just 63 miles an hour.
Absolutely. Now down to the last 6 outs.
Again, you can't take anything away from the off-speed stuff. I mean, this is certainly off-speed and then some, and it's been efficient. He creeps it back up there to 80 on that one. Work ahead 0-2, and now looking for a third straight K. This one will sail up high, and the count to 1-2. So, counts 2-2. And that one will drift in, and the count's 3-2. There's a big swing and a miss, and Burciaga's retired 3 in a row. So Burciaga 3 straight Ks, and now Caden Albright going to step on up. Albright 1 for 3 tonight, strikeout and a fly out to center, and also has a single with a stolen base on the evening as well. Burciaga 0-1, and that one will come up and hit the elbow of Albright. Got him on the left elbow, just looked like Burciaga crept it up there a little bit too high. Bonfiglio starting to do a job. The only thing that he really cannot afford to do here for the Doubledays right now is put one into the ground. Burciaga keeping a close eye at first, now trying to pick off, and the late tag slapped on. Is Albright back in there. Burciaga now going to fire. And there's a swing and a miss. And the count's 0-1. Bonfiglio, last time up, struck out on 5 pitches. That one was against Colin Carver. One of 3 Ks for Carver in his outing as that one opposite batter's box. Bounce and rolls to the bat stop, and the count goes to 1-1. Albright advances 90 feet. So again, 90 feet moving up. Albright going to second. And Burciaga once again going to go off speed, missing down and outside. Coming up in the top of the 9th, we'll take one final look at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard tonight with a lot of interesting games with a lot of states going on, as we've been talking about. That one will drift up towards the head and counts 3-1. You hope that Burciaga can find a way to get a couple of quick outs, as again, he's probably going to have to go the 9th as well with the Outlaws' shortage of arms in the bullpen. You might see a Dan Payton appearance if you really need an arm, but he has thrown a lot of pitches recently, and he's kind of been struggling with things, and so you hope that he kind of doesn't end up need to be an emergency arm for this team. And I'm sure there's a couple of guys who would step up and throw for this team if they really need somebody for one inning in an exhibition game too. But 3-2, and this one in the air out towards left field, roping towards the line. It drops foul. Just a couple of inches shy of that painted line in left. This one now out towards right off in the corner. Oh, and Burnsworth racing over. It drops to his left side. It's a fair ball. Racing Albright being waved around from third to score in the second. Bonfiglio, that's an RBI. Auburn's within 4. It's a 12-8 ball game. So Bonfiglio comes up with a big knot to right, puts it in a few inches shy of the line. In Auburn, the crowd starting to get back into it here. As now Tyler Young will step up to the plate. Young on base twice tonight. One's courtesy of a single, one's courtesy of a walk. And he scored 2 runs, also has a stolen base. Burciaga keeping a close eye on now Mike Bonfiglio as that one swung right through. The U-Tampa product in a 1-1 count. 1-1, and there's a big swing. So he'll be in 2-strike approach with 1 out. Burciaga checks behind him as that one missing down and away, and the count's at 2-2. On the run, there's a swing and a miss. Young gets the swinging K, but Mike Bonfiglio advances 90 feet, but 2 outs and a runner at third. That's not too bad of a spot to be in. And at Mahar, the 10-hole hitter, going to be the last Doubleday in the lineup before it's back to the top. He'll take a first pitch called strike as Burciaga continuing to fill it up. It's one thing that Keaton Marcus said time and time again about Alex Burciaga when he's had these pen appearances. He's just been all around the zone. He's never two up, two down. He's just always locating and locating well. And he's probably going to be a trusted weapon here moving forward through the month of July when this team's going to need some big innings filled. 1-1, and that'll drop in. Called strike 2. Not even an offer from Mahar, and he is in two-strike approach as well. Burciaga hoping to get one more, get out of the inning. The pitch, and that's going to be just low. Outlaws 12 runs tonight on 10 hits. Auburn 8 runs on 8 hits. Is Burciaga floats one in there for a called strike 3. Call that the ghost ball. He gets it done. Outlaws allow another run to score. First earned run to Burciaga in a couple of outings. But we go to the 9th inning, and the Outlaws holding a 12-out lead. One more inning is all that's left in this exhibition contest in Auburn, and the Doubledays hoping to go to their final arm as Ben Ruth out here. And in this middle of the Outlaw lineup it's going to be 5, 6, 7 up, starting off by Lorenzo Camarilli, who's already down in the count 0-1. Ben Ruth will get to his full stat line from the season here in just a second. Is the 0-1. Misses down and outside, counts to 1-1. Ben Ruth, a 14.54 ERA in 5 appearances, 4 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned. He has walked 7 and struck out 8. Is this one a slow tapper towards second? Fishbein scoops it up and fire just wake in time. 4-3, and there's one away. So Camilleri's retired, and we'll go to Connor Waiting. Waiting, whatever happens next for him. We really appreciate all he's been doing here in Oneonta. He's been a big community guy and a fan favorite, And he's scored 2 runs tonight, been on base twice, and takes one behind his back. As that'll be ball 1.
From that Mahar, ball number 1.
Waiting again, a hit by pitch and a walk tonight. Also has taken 2 strikeouts.
So 0 for 2 on the day.
Waiting off to the screen and the count to 1-1.
Walk in his third. Both times he's been on base. He has 5 home plate.
What's that? Oh, you already got the headshot?
Certainly is.
Ruth will kick on the first base side and comes in with a called strike. That's only 66. So after Alex Burciago was floating in the 61, 63, Ben Ruth is kind of right down there with him. 1-2. And waiting, not going to offer at it as it'll go to 2-2. Ruth attends Ithaca College, same spot where Outlaws pitcher Asa Dugan goes.
Had some deceptive moves on that. I thought he was
2-2. And there's a called strike 3. Waiting gets rung up,
take down Connor
and there's 2 outs.
Thomas Woodridge with 2 outs on the board.
One out of this offense out this comeback. Incredible.
Woodridge snatched up.
Get him out in the top of the 9th without giving up a run. Ruth doing so
He's been on base all 4 times tonight.
Thomas Woodridge has been on base in each of his 4 at-bats. 1 hit, 1 walk.
This one out in the air, deep center field, just in front of the track, gets caught. Adam Sullivan able to haul it down. 3 up, 3 down here in the 9th inning for Ben Ruth. An efficient outing at that. And now Auburn going to come up last ups, bottom 9, trying to crack into this one as they trail 12-8. Bottom of the 9th inning, Alex Burciago looking to close it down, pick up the save here in Auburn, and he misses up and away with his first one to fall behind 1-0 in the count. Outlaws tomorrow going to Mohawk Valley, and we'll talk about that when we wrap things out here for the night. But with this exhibition, it wraps up the 2 of 2 in this exhibition series against the Doubledays. Won't play any more exhibitions, just going to be a regular Eastern Division contest until the end of the month. Out towards left center, drops just to the right of Uhura. He'll play on the 1-up, but that's a single. And Auburn immediately going to be in business here to start the 9th inning with a leadoff base runner. That's Fishbein now going to walk on up. On base twice, a hit by pitch and an RBI single, and also has popped to second and flown out to center. That's Fishbein going to take it a strike.
drove from Missouri overnight.
Not to all at once. They kind of listen to you. They had one run in the 7th, one run in the 8th. Now is where you need to get all those runs in.
Short lead off first for Sullivan.
Home run here.
And again, the 0-1. Poke deep in the air out towards left field into the night. Zach Rowe, watch that. There's a curve foul. So if that one had hooked a little bit more fair, probably would have had a 2-run shot in a 2-run game. But luckily, the baseball guys watching over the Outlaws on that.
Starting a 4-run path.
Yeah, home run right now only has the lead in half the 2. So they're trying to get on base and cause havoc for this team. Luckily, though, it's only a 4-run game, so the bases loaded.
0-2, Burciaga trying to pick off to first, and Sullivan was able to get right back in there, no prob.
Same, but you know, you allow yourself to bring the time run up to the plate here if you don't score any runs.
Burciaga rolls one on the ground, waiting to turn to second. Carrera, let's bat to first, awaiting in time.
One again, as that's a
Bang, bang, bang. That's how you draw it up.
Outlaws. The first base
3-6, they retire Sullivan, and Fishbein retired as the back half, 3-6. And there is 2 away, just like that. 3-6-3, double play, 2 down, and now Gianni DeCerbo. Burciaga floats one up there, and that's ball 1.
Now for the Doubledays, got to do it all with 2 outs here. Oh yeah, gotta hit the Jesus song highs. This
Hammered in the air out to center field. Kazuhara drifting back, and he camps underneath that, and the Outlaws sweep the exhibition series against the Auburn Doubledays here in 2025. They grab the win in game 1, 7-4, and then they come here to Auburn, and they grab a 12-7 victory. That's the wrong graphic. There we go. 12-8, your final score in this one. Outlaws, it's going to be on 10 hits and 1 error, and for the Doubledays, it's on 9 hits and 4 errors. They're back home tomorrow to play Niagara Falls as game 3 of 7 and a long homestand. Outlaws go to Mohawk Valley tomorrow at 6:35, and again, tune into the Diamond Dogs feed tomorrow. We'll share the link, but the Outlaws, the record stays the same. They do get the 2 victories this year against Auburn, and we'll be back here with you on YouTube on Friday. But again, 12-8 your final score. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Outlaws are winners, and we'll see you next time. Roll Laws.